Okay, I'm gonna get started. Superstar Rose, thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new, thank you if you have been here before. I'm just gonna start with the topic that was in my mind. It's not really what I wanted to talk about. I didn't really want to talk about this in today's video, but I'm gonna just kind of create momentum by starting with it. First of all, let me just start by saying I'm going to be very sad to see summer leave. I'm going to be very sad for the summer to end, but at the same time, fall is really cool. And I think that'll be, I don't know, I do like some cool like fall vibes. I think how I feel about fall is, I don't know, sometimes like the raininess, the cold, like the cooler weather gives an excuse to kind of take downtime. This summer is awesome and wonderful, and it's like when we should be taking downtime, but I think because it's so nice out so much of the time, and it's sunny, especially for me, like I don't want to waste a sunny day being inside. So sometimes, I don't know, I think that it's always beneficial to be outside if it's sunny, even if it's just for a very short period of time and you just get outside. But at the same time, when it's cloudy or if it's raining or precipitating in any way, it's like a nice excuse to just kind of chill out. And I feel like the fall brings a lot of like chill out vibes with it. So I just wanted to make that quick kind of weather related speech. The clouds are really cool looking. I mean, it looks like it's gonna like downpour, so I do have my jacket hanging from the tripod right now. But it looks really beautiful here, like absolutely gorgeous. And the clouds, it looks really cool. Like I just can't express how cool it looks right now. Just looking at this whole open area of land next to the sky, just really neat. So I'm just really a fan of scenery and weather and just being outside and exploring nature. The topic that I didn't want to talk about, that I felt like I would start with, so I just kind of started with that, and I think that was a nice little thing to say, is just kind of being yourself. So doing these videos is an opportunity for me to fully be who I am, and it may not resonate with everybody. And the cool thing is that I'm completely okay with that. I'm more than okay with that. You know, there's different like areas of our lives where we kind of have to put sort of a mask on. You're expected to behave a certain way at a job, around certain people in certain situations. Especially when it comes to like at a job and certain like situations, you're expected to present yourself in a certain way. You know, social situations. And so this is my opportunity to just be myself and just put it out there to the entire world as a really nice balance to being able to be myself fully in comparison to times and places and situations where I don't feel like I fully be myself. So that's why making these videos is it's very therapeutic for me, as much as whatever I'm sharing is meant to be therapeutic for you. It's therapeutic for me as well, because it's an opportunity for me to completely share who I am and what I have, and I'm sharing that. I'm just putting it out there, like publicly. The intention is for people who resonate with me, my message, are the ones who will follow me, who will watch the videos. I'm not ever intending on trying to reach people for force people to follow my channel, force people to listen to what I have to say, force people to agree with me or anything like that. It's just an opportunity for me to be fully embodied in who I actually am. And I encourage you to do the same thing. I encourage you very much to do the same thing. So I think that's what today's video will be about, is just tapping into your most authentic self. And the thing is that we grow up, especially in like grade school, with a lot of guidelines on how we're supposed to behave and carry ourselves and present ourselves to the world. And unfortunately, that is very confining. It's definitely very confining for me. It's been very confining. And then you go out into the world, you know, beyond that point, you hang around with certain people, or you're exposed to certain situations where now you're living this sort of like prepackaged, very limited version of yourself, very sort of constricted, confined, very limited, not fully who you are version of yourself that you're now presenting to the world based on, I'm just going to call it like grade school, those years. And it's like part of yourself is like locked up in a cage. And that's really painful. It's very exhausting. It's very draining. And so I just wanted to create this channel to encourage people to embody who you actually are. And the more you do that, just like I say, I come out here and do the videos outside as a comfort zone hack. I do it as a comfort zone hack because it consistently gets me out of my comfort zone. It consistently helps me to stay out of my comfort zone. And that's very helpful for me and the momentum that I'm creating for my life path, in that the less anxiety or fear I have about getting in front of the camera in general, and then the less anxiety and fear I have about getting in front of the camera outside where there's other people who could potentially be, you know, watching what I'm doing, creates really strong momentum for me to stay outside of my shell in other areas of my life, in all areas of my life. And the more you are who you actually are, the more you're going to attract other very authentic people to you. So the more you are basically wearing a mask or putting on a show or being this very limited, confined version of yourself, the more you're going to attract other people that also do so or feel the need to do so. The more you can step out of that confining, you know, limited state of being, the more you will attract people and situations that accept you for the authentic version of yourself. So there's situations, like I said, I have a lot of hobbies, and I do. One of them is that one of the things I've taken a hiatus from, just for different reasons, circumstances, is the acting classes. Being in that kind of environment really amps up my personality, which is kind of funny to think about, because here I'm talking about like being authentic and this is like acting, but like being able to play characters intentionally and with like a full energy behind that, because that can be very awkward and uncomfortable. No, it can be very awkward and uncomfortable for a lot of people, but that was something that I've always wanted to do. And just stepping into a character and playing a character fully is also just the act of doing that in a setting with other people and in front of other people and around other people, interacting with other people, is also helping me to like stay out of my comfort zone. It is a form of being authentic, because that authentically is something I've always wanted to do. So it's a way of me being authentic. So me doing these videos, and especially doing them outside when there's different things going on around me. There's people, there's activity. It helps me to stay on that momentum. And if I could put myself out there, not just on the screen, then that makes the energy behind it that much stronger. So, and I have no idea how any of this is coming across, because I do have like a sort of an audience. I have like a revolving door of audience sort of people. So I really want to talk more about that. I did have something else that was relating to specifically, we're only ever generating in our experience a reflection of what is already going on within ourselves. It could be it's like you can know that on a logical level, you can know that on an intellectual level, but still not embody the truth of it. So it's really important to just, like, honestly, at the end of the day, the most important message is to just be as authentic to who you are as you possibly can, as consistently as possible. For me, it's creating these videos. It's stepping outside of my comfort zone, doing them outside, with the potential that there'll be like an audience. And what that does for me is it creates momentum, and it just helps me stay consistent with my goals. The more you step outside of your comfort zone, the more you're willing to take chances in other areas and keep that momentum going. Doing this helps me, it opens me up to being able to do other things where it might require me to make some kind of change with some habit, or the way that I structure my time, and especially my free time, because sometimes my free time, like I said in the previous video, I'm not sure which video it's going to be before this one, a lot of my free time could be overly structured, and I want to shake things up in that department. I want to shake things up in my free time and live more in a flow state, and do things where I'm not pre-planning so many things. Like I pre-plan the workouts. I pre-plan obviously this. I mean, and this is a passion project. So this is definitely something that I'm keeping in the schedule. And of course, I can play around with the times that I record and the times that I publish or edit or whatever. I could certainly restructure the timing of those things. But in terms of other things, like I find myself very easily slipping into patterns of going to the same places, doing the same kinds of things, and not really shaking things up. Like I did mention, and I don't know if it was in the last video, that it's in an as of right now, it's in an unpublished video. Maybe it'll be published by the time this one's published. But there was a weekend when I felt very inspired to go out of state, not very far, like it's an adjacent state, but for personal reasons. It's something that's personal and like family kind of oriented, related. I felt inspired after I got home from my other job, my part-time job, and I ended up not doing it, and there was like a little level of disappointment to that. I wasn't like devastated or really heavily disappointed by it. I just felt like I had the inspiration, and for whatever reason I didn't follow it that day, but it did create this sort of momentum of like, now I want to make sure the next time I feel inspired to do that I actually just jump in the car and go. And there's things that like we have that we feel that sense of inspiration, that pull to do something, but it's our habitual ways of being and living and the things that we do every day that it sort of feels like it's not us. It's like it goes outside of your identity to do something different or drastically different or go somewhere different. And it might sound silly to use such a heavy term like identity, but when you think about it, when you just like keep doing the same things all of the time, these habitual things, well, first of all, life gets very mundane. It gets very monotonous. Things aren't really fun. It's like living your life in like black and white, as opposed to, color. Things get really drab. They get really dreary. But the more you follow your inspiration, the more you follow your inspired ideas, the more you are willing to do it and create momentum on continuously doing it. So it's just really fascinating how that happens. And it's a major step to up leveling. I mentioned that, my channel is about next leveling. I like to say up leveling because, again, I do believe in quantum shifting, quantum jumping. I believe you could go several rungs up the ladder, so to speak. Not just, next leveling is great, and it's probably more, it's less daunting, it's more realistic to the idea of next leveling. But I definitely believe you can up level. It just, again, it requires an amount of getting out of your comfort zone, staying out of your comfort zone, and getting out of your comfort zone in different areas, not just one area. So this is the area that I've consistently gotten out of my comfort zone and have been able to stay out of my comfort zone. There's still times like today, like I have like audience around. I think it's the vibe that I'm already in before coming out here today for whatever reason that contributed to that. But for the most part, this is what I do, whether, like I said, whether I'm up to it or feeling it or not. Again, if I really, really, really am having a day where I just can't do it, then I don't do it. I honor those feelings. But if it's a day where I'm just not up to it or something's kind of off in my energy, I'll still get out and do it. What's the worst that can happen is I just won't publish the video. I just won't have content that's, I don't know if I would say worth sharing, or I just will end up with a video that's kind of, my energy is really off, that's all. But who cares, because the whole point of coming out anyway, even if I'm not necessarily up to it, is that I want to stay consistent to my goal. I want to keep that momentum going, and I don't want to slide out. I don't want to slide back into an identity where now I'm getting kind of squeamish about doing it because I've been out of the loop for so long. Like say I miss several weekends in a row, and then I try to come out and record on a weekend, and maybe I have a really great message that I want to talk about, but now I'm feeling really apprehensive because I hadn't done it in a few weeks. So I want to make sure I'm maintaining that consistency, staying out of my comfort zone, maintaining the consistency, so that those things aren't things I have to worry about when I come out and record. What I want to focus on is the message that I'm coming equipped with. Whether I come equipped with a message or not, or whether one lands in my consciousness when I'm outside in front of the camera or in my car. I haven't done a video in my car in a while because I tried to once or twice and it wasn't flowing. So, and I feel like I like doing them outside more. I just like doing them outside. I feel like today the sun's not shining. It's very overcast, but I just think that there's something about being in nature that really aids in the inspiration. So being outside definitely aids in being a channel for things to come to me a lot easier. At least that's how I feel about it. That's what I think. Things tend to flow more when I'm outside, which is kind of funny because, again, I do, sometimes get an audience, and that could interrupt it could sort of interrupt my attention span, or just, it might draw my attention to that and take it away from what I'm talking about. But I don't know. I think that the being in nature, being outside, kind of supersedes any of those things. So I don't know, I feel like when I'm in the car lately, it's almost like I experienced some kind of like writer's block kind of situation where I don't really, things just aren't flowing as well as they are when I'm outside. So with all that said, I guess today's video is a pretty mix match combo pack. It's so crucial that you live in your true authenticity. It's so crucial that you do so, because you'll just find people, instead of trying to have people validate you, respect you, and honor you for who you are, or who you aren't, we'll say, if you're finding that it's difficult to be fully authentic in whatever situation you are in, or situations, or friendships, relationships, you're gonna find that basically it's just misalignment, and I think sometimes we can hold on to friendships with people, relationships for long periods of time when they're not in alignment, just because of this time thing that we follow, and because we've known somebody for so long, they've been in your life for such a long period of time that it can be difficult to just allow things to naturally happen, where maybe you just kind of like drift into your separate ways so that you can allow the right energy to come into your life. It's just so important, because when you're not being authentic and you're entertaining connections that are not authentic, then it's like you're not able to, the less you're going to want to be authentic, because now you're surrounded by energy that is syncing up with this very confined, limited version of yourself. So you're not fully being yourself. So the energy that you're attracting into your experience is that of probably the same people that are holding back in their own ways, or people that are reflecting back to you how you're holding yourself back, because we get a reflection of what we are, the things that are going on, the energy that is existing within us. We just get a reflection of that in our own reality. So the more you are authentic, you might start to drift away, or people might start drifting away from you that you once connected with. And this is a really profound message. I think this is actually a great main message for today's video, is that's what can really stop people from staying in their true authentic nature. That's what can stop people from really fully embodying the authentic version of themselves, is maybe that pain of feeling like you're being judged or not accepted by people that you once were sort of accepted by on some level. But this is a random statement that I'm going to make. Life isn't a cheerleading contest, or it's not cheerleading tryouts. You should never have to perform or try out for people to be in their life. That just came to me. You shouldn't. You're not trying out for a role in a movie, and if you are, then you're intentionally trying out for a role in a movie. But if you're not doing that, you're just having connections with people, then they should be authentic connections. And the only way to do that is to tap into your own authenticity, the true essence of who you are. And it is going to be off-putting to some people. It will probably be off-putting to people that have been in your life for a very long period of time. And I'm probably repeating myself a lot, but I just really want to emphasize the importance of staying on the path of staying authentic, even through the pain, even through feeling like the discomfort of not being validated or accepted by energy or people that once did seem to validate or accept you. Because we're not here to be accepted by people. We're here to be ourselves, and we all have our own true path to be on. We all have our own authentic path to be on in this life. Yours is yours exclusively, and you don't owe an explanation to anybody else for who you are or your path. And there will be people, or there might be in your reality, I feel like there are people that like kind of want this explanation And you don't owe anybody any explanation, because people might see a change in you and sort of come at you with sort of like negativity about it. You know, I've kind of increased I've increased my level of awareness, increased my, you know, energetic frequency. And when I'm in a higher state, people who are not on that state, they're not connecting with me. So it might be greeted with negativity coming from those who are in that state. And there's more of a separation. When people start greeting you with some criticism, that could be painful, that could hurt. And a way to avoid that pain would be to just slide back into what makes somebody else more comfortable. But you know, you're not here to make somebody be more comfortable with themselves. That's something they have to deal with. And I don't mean to, like, you know, be harsh in this video, but this is just what I feel inspired to talk about today. We're not here in this reality, in this life, to live a life unfulfilled, walk around in a confined version of ourselves to make other people comfortable with themselves. It'll trigger other people who aren't comfortable living in their authenticity. It's just going to. And just like consistently coming outside and doing these videos outside and staying out of my comfort zone, it's going to be like a muscle that you have to work at to consistently stay who you are anyway. Do it anyway. Be that way anyway, even if you feel like you're being scrutinized, or you feel like you're not being accepted anymore, or you feel like people are now judging you. They're going to do that anyway. And if they're going to do that, then it says more about them than it says about you. So, I mean, I'd like to tie this up with more positive. The positive aspects of this are, you will then attract people who resonate with the new version of you, the authentic version of you, where you don't have to hide, or play some part, play some role, be some limited version of yourself where you feel like you're wearing a mask. You will attract people and energy into your experience that accept you fully for who you actually are. And I can't tell you what a freeing life that is. It's just freeing to be able to do that and not have to sort of perform for people who don't match up with that energy, and kind of just live in this limited state. I'm not really sure how I want to end this video. I just feel like I probably should end it. I don't know if I've been out here that long, but it is really gorgeous. I do want to say the roots and stuff. So that's my cue to kind of wrap it up. It's one of the previous videos, it was like 100 out, or at least close to it. But now it's like cooler, but it's very, very nice. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day living in a flow state. There are some things that I want to do, but I'm not going to force anything. I'm going to just see what I feel like doing. And I definitely, like I said in that video, I want to be more in a flow state. I want to at least schedule time or structure my time where I'm allowing myself to just do whatever I feel like doing in that moment, just living more in a flow state. And that leads to fulfillment. That really leads to, it's less forcing yourself to do these tasks, because we already have a life filled up with tasks, and we have to show up for other people and other situations. Like I've said before, it's important to show up for yourself and your own goals, but it's also important to live in a flow state and just allow things to come to you, allow yourself to relax, and allow yourself to do whatever it is that you feel inspired to do. So I'm going to wrap up today. If I don't finish this in the car, it's Crystar Rose. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you have subscribed, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And feel free to comment down below on anything that I talked about in today's video or in any previous videos. If there's anything that you want me to elaborate on, or if there's any topic that you could think of that you'd like me to cover, just comment down below. And as always, I will see you soon.